So to kick things off for us tonight, please give a huge welcome to our other host, Seed Managing Director, Joe Pacitti.
Don't stop me now. I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. Don't stop me now. If you want to have a good time, just give me a call. Don't stop me now. A good time. Don't stop me now.
I suppose before I kick off, I wanted to just congratulate Shireen for her MBE, which we got very recently. So. Right. I'm actually more nervous this year than I was last year. I don't know what it was, and it certainly wasn't anything to do with Dutch courage, but I think it's a room full of friends. So that's what Seed's all about. So you'll excuse me if anything goes slightly wrong, but the intention is for you guys to have a fantastic night. So really, on behalf of the Seed team, I really do want to welcome everybody to tonight's awards. Last year we were a teenager. We were 13 and spotty. This year we're 14 years old, so we're kind of definitely getting to that puberty stage, and we're learning. So we kind of got slightly better. We invited more pals to our rave when we put it out on social media and got a lot more people than we did last year. I think tonight's awards demonstrate how willingly our sector really kind of come together. The engineering, the manufacturing, the technology sector have really embraced it. So we've come here, what we're going to do, we're going to share stories, we're going to network, and we're going to celebrate. We have Karen here, so you don't have a night without celebrating when we've got Karen, so that's for certain. I think this network actually is interesting. It actually represents a broad range of sectors. Each one is actually quite unique. They've got unique elements, but there's actually something that unites us. We have actually got some kind of shared and common goals. And what are they? Well, actually, we pay forward. I think you heard, and it'll probably be in the brochure, Dave and I spoke about that last year. The essence of Seed is about all of us sharing stories, helping each other, the good and the bad. So a peer-to-peer knowledge exchange is actually what we're all about, and that's what we do. But I actually like to call it crowd learning. That's what Seed is. So if you take away one little fancy phrase, that's the one I want to coin for tonight. So we come here together, we share, and we do that with generosity to make all of us better. So if I can actually quote from Tom Craig from Scottish Government, I met him last night at the Parliament, told him I was going to quote from him, and he didn't look too disturbed when I said that. But what Tom said when we were in a meeting, he says, "We recognise the increasing importance of peer-to-peer approach. Helping companies to innovate and improve productivity is important, and we can't rely on guys with grey suits, clipboards and spreadsheets. I'm wearing a blue suit, you will notice. And I think that's really important, that government have recognised that it's actually the power of you guys in the room together that are actually going to make a difference. So you should really applaud yourselves, because that's what we're going to do. We'll make the economy better. There's actually more increasing emphasis on building economic growth and impact with a focus on community. We've heard the government talking about it, not just in Scotland, but developing wealth, making sure you have a positive impact on inclusion and inequality. And what I have to say is that my experience, and I'm an engineer and I've worked around the world, but I actually know that this community is actually heavily steeped in community. It's one of the sectors that is very much like that. And some examples are the supply chain between companies. That's naturally a community, and we want to do more of that in Scotland, working together. I think we need to embrace the planet. We're actually trying to look at things like circular economy, and at least 2 of our awards and our sponsors with SIR, and excuse the acronyms, but sometimes it's easier when you're reading from that, and zero waste. We're on that journey, and I think it's important that we all do that, and each one of us can make a difference, both personally and corporately. And actually, importantly, developing the workforce. I think the young talent that we have in this country is important. And actually, no, I don't have to say a huge amount about that, because Karen's going to show you some fantastic examples of what we do and the people in our network. But we do see a need for talent and skills, and often it's about the highest levels, and I think that's important, but I don't want people to get carried away with that. I think engineering companies are one of the parts of the economy where the barrier to entry and the progression, it comes from a much wider skills base. I mean, we're heavily invested in apprenticeship channels, foundation, modern, graduate. And actually, when you see things that come up, it's amazing that you do often see the engineering and the manufacturing companies at the forefront of that. And I know we have apprenticeships in other sectors as well, but we are very much grounded in that area. And I do want to have a shout out. All sponsors are equal, but Skills Development Scotland, 2 weeks from now is Apprenticeship Week. So if you've got any comments and you've got any things, seek the guys out, talk to them. They want stories. And if we can inspire young people, then what we'll actually do is we'll get that next generation, and that will help you guys sitting there trying to make a difference. And I think what the companies, in my opinion, show is they absolutely demonstrate a strong ladder for growth and development for those that want it. And that's why Seed was founded. And I think we're still true to that. I've actually heard members talk about the shadow that their facility or their organisation casts into the community. So I'm still on that theme. And it's true. I think it does happen. You know, we're all aware of facilities that, you know, have that name. They've changed. I used to work for Ferranti. It's not called Ferranti now. It's called Leonardo, and it's gone through many changes. But I think it still has that footprint, that impact. And when I hear my members talking about things, what they really talk about are positive stories. And those stories are actually really down to the superb management. Often it's exemplar, and actually it's the passion and people-centred leaders that make a difference. I'm privileged that my board are like that and that many of my members are like that. So I think, you know, you guys are the people that make a difference in Scotland. And as I said, the room is full of those organisations. I did have a bit in there, and I'm going to say it, I took it out, but if you're here with your boss, this is your time to thank them, because some of these guys are the ones that are going to give you that leg up. So, last year I set out a target to attract more startup and early stage companies. I won. Nobody did that. Okay, that's terrible. We've got to work on that. I expect my team to be doing that later anyway. As I was saying, I was really keen that small tech companies join Seed. I think the barriers between some of the sectors and some of the people that help them are too much. And it's happening. What we did last year is we developed a consortium membership. So Recoil Knee Pads, Turtle, Ceric, Freedom Wildlife, Curious Chip, Smart Stems all got together and became a member of Seed, which I think is great. And that was because they had a visionary person in the middle. I think Stuart should take some credit for doing that. And actually, more small tech businesses are joining us. Some of the latest are Topolytics. And if you don't know about the global waste map, you will. And that's something that we should do. You think your stuff's being recycled? I wonder if it really is. So what we really need to do is work with them so we can map that out. And UDrafter, a company that actually match students looking for projects to companies that have projects, so that the undergrads in this world don't have to just work in retail. If they're in engineering-specific courses, they can go and find that. So I want to kind of draw your attention to those guys. And actually last year there was a number of early stage companies who actually won awards. They were in the mix and they won. And this year there are more. And actually I want more to see the light and join. So if you're a gatekeeper to those, tap them on the shoulder and tell them this is the place that they can come. Not just to grow the membership, but what better way to learn from the experienced companies who might invest with them and actually help them with product. So I think it's important that we look at that as well. Oh, missed 2 pages there, that's right. See this recycled paper, it's not very good. It actually sticks together. I hope your paper's better, Dave. So tonight's dinner is just an example of what happens in a network which is very experiential. A lot of people last year who came as guests came and took tables, which I think is interesting. And some of you have actually gone so far that you've actually decided to sponsor. So I think that really talks about the warmth of the community. Our whole role is about bringing people together actively so that when they come together, they share and they become part of that family. So this is a bit of a sales pitch, but for a good reason. If you're a member, find a non-member. Go and talk to them. Tell them how good it is. Convince them to join your club. It's not my club, it's your club. If you're not a member, find a member and talk to them and ask them how good it is. Seek them out. Tell them what makes a difference, because actually those are the things that will make a difference. I actually heard recently a few people saying, I'm too busy to join. That's the wrong thing to say. See, when you're busy, you've got more questions. And what would you rather do? Sit and try and work them out yourself, or use the power of this room in Scotland to help you through that journey? So I do actually say, if you're not a member, go and find someone and ask them what it is that made them better. So take the call to action. So all of us in Seed are part of that community. We're building it. It's very diverse. It's diverse in its sector, its size, and its capability. We're actually building a cluster. And I think we're actually a force for good. So I think that's something that we need to know. This is the community that will make a difference in Scotland. So our mission still exists. We want to be the best hangout club in Scotland. Actually, maybe in the world, but our aspirations are really about doing that in Scotland. So by coming here tonight, you've actually joined that. You've not joined the cult, but you've certainly joined the Seed movement. And actually, this is one of our super show and tell workshops. And I actually have a challenge for you. So tonight you thought you were coming just to enjoy yourself, but actually you're going to have to work. CA Models actually have produced the trophies for this year. You'll see them on the front of the brochure. You can see them up here. I think, you know, Leonardo made them last year and set a pretty high bar. I think it's fair to say that CA Models stepped over that bar and pushed it some. And the guys are down there. So Clark. So Clark came in, and they were arguing about the kind of spec of the product and flex and stuff, but he basically said, don't think it's challenging enough, Joe. And I went, okay. I think that the room could come up with a more spectacular design. Maybe not tonight, but certainly tonight could be the start of it. And the problem is that we've now got a bet running. If you can stump him, he's going to buy me dinner. If you can't, I'm buying him dinner. But with Clark and Gregory and their capability, I think my credit card's coming out, unless you can help me. So I actually want to thank all the sponsors. Tonight would not be possible without your support. It simply just wouldn't happen. We really need your help. I mentioned Skills Development Scotland. I also want to kind of shout out to the Scottish Government and the Cyber. This is Cyber Week. And why is that important? Well, when I went to meet them, they told me that they've picked a couple of sectors, and the manufacturing and engineering sector is one that they want to actually get involved in. And I think we do have it. If you think about the Internet of Things, guys from Census are here. We're connecting every single piece of kit up, and actually we're making it leaky. So we really need to embrace that. So I thank them for stepping forward and actually supporting us with one of the awards. I actually want to thank Joan and the team at Equator. They actually worked so hard to make this one of the best nights, actually, and the most enjoyable nights that you're going to have. I was going to say in February, which is a definite tick, but I think in the whole year. So thank you, Joan. And of course, I want to thank all of you for coming, because actually it wouldn't be a great night if you didn't come and start sharing those stories and mixing it up. So I'm getting close to the end. The submissions for tonight's awards were outstanding. Some people had to read them all. Yeah. Some people had to write some of those summaries in the brochure. It's quite difficult to take 4 pages and turn it into 3 lines. But anyway, I did my best on copywriting, so if there's any typos, you can come, you know who to blame. But actually what they all highlighted were the strength, the capability, and the capacity across all of the disciplines that we reach within our businesses. We're not just techie, and actually the wide sectors that we represent. So I really want to just close by saying good luck to all the people who are shortlisted, and I really hope everybody enjoys the evening. Thank you.